Hello, hello. We are here with ProBots Season 1, 2024, Day 6, Round of 8. That's a lot of numbers. Joining us today is Ketrock. Thanks for filling in for Ban Yoshi. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. Looking forward to seeing some bots get thrown in the scrap pile today.
Indeed. And hopefully not yours,
Hopefully.
which will be coming up later. Yeah, we've got, so this is our transition to the bracket phase. So everything is single elimination from here on out. And yeah, should be pretty exciting. We've got kind of the best of the best at this point. Here was our format coming from the group stages. The top two bots from each group did advance on to the single elimination playoff here. Quarterfinals are best of three. The semis are going to be best of five. And the finals will end up being a best of seven. No second chances anymore.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. But with how strong the bots are getting now, the best of
Yeah.
fives and best of sevens will actually be a mix
Yeah,
of different things
interesting.
too. It's not just going to be like repeats of the same game over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. We've already had like a number of, third matches, like 2-1s to get here.
Hmm.
So yeah, I expect the same sort of thing to continue. We'll see how evenly paired things are tonight. Can we get a look at the bracket itself? So here's the match lineup. So we got Tier T, the Terran, versus Sharkbot, our Protoss player. Benbot BC will be facing Phobos in a nice TVT and see how advanced Phobos has gotten against Benbot's defensive style.
That'll be a good test.
Yeah, I think that one's definitely a gut check. Then Zena versus Zozo. Zozo again, like pretty cheesy, and Zena a random. That's going to be a pretty interesting one. And then rounding it off with another TVT and another kind of like milestone check. But you guys have done that a number of times. Micro Machine against Ketrock, a classic matchup.
Yeah, yeah. One that I still, even as the author, I have no idea who will
Yeah.
win because we're still like 50-50 on the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely will be interesting. Yeah. Here's the bracket. So the winner of tier T and Sharkbot will end up facing the winner of Ketrock and Micro Machine. And on the other side, it's Phobos and Benbot facing the winner of Zena and Zozo. I kind of feel like the bottom right hand of the bracket here, the Zena Zozo, is very wild. Like, I think it's going to depend a lot on what race Zena ends up getting. And we've seen that Zozo's tactics can be very map dependent. We've seen a lot of the zealot rushing. So I want to see how that stacks up against some cheeses that Zena might do and whatever.
Yeah. Tier versus Sharkbot sounds out to me. That might be like
Yeah.
the series of the entire tournament. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Both those bots are, I think, are extremely capable of winning the entire championship. So,
Yeah.
especially with
Definitely.
Eris missing from this tournament.
Yeah, that's it. Eris, for those that don't know, former champion Eris is now Phobos, just a different bot, different race, but same author.
Hmm.
So yeah, so expecting it's kind of anyone's game this time around because Phobos has definitely made a lot of advancements, but
Yeah,
probably isn't at the state that like Eris was at in terms of just sheer dominance.
but probably improving faster than any bot that's
Yeah,
in this tournament. So yeah, every update,
likely.
it can
Yeah,
go up like multiple levels. So we'll have to see.
yeah, for sure, true. And yeah, we've already seen a bit of that after one change was already allowed in the tournament. So can we grab a look at the stats of Tier and Sharkbot? And I'm just looking at Tier's change log as well. Um, so it looks like some improvements have been made against specific opponents and mostly may come into play in the final. So Tier is planning ahead. Here we've got Tier with an ELO of 1820 and a win rate of 43.3. Again, I always say that's for the upper bracket of things, so it's deceptive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially for a tier is deceptive because he's not a bot who shows all of his cards on ladder.
yeah,
He always looks like mediocre on ladder, and then he comes into these ProBots tournaments and just crushes. So he's probably
yeah,
got some big surprises in store.
yeah. And it looks like he's got specific. I maybe won't actually read these out specifically yet, but he's got things specifically for Phobos, Benbot, and Zena that are programmed in, which I won't reveal since that's not who he's playing tonight anyway. So will be interesting. One generic improvement: when attacking with Thors, SCVs will be sent with the attack to repair the Thors.
Oh,
So
that's fun.
maybe we'll see some of that. And his opponent is going to be a Sharkbot, and Sharkbot has a lot of fun things. And Sharkbot had written us like a love letter last time.
Nice.
And now I think the final submission for this, one saying, I've been playing my macro games, but I have eccentric tastes. It is my prerogative to continuously elevate my cuisine while maintaining a well-defined abdomen. I went on a Michelin restaurant tour in France for inspiration and analyzed every dish with intellectual processing power that far surpasses that of a meat brain like yourself. I found the secret to making every dish better: cheese. I simulated 3 trillion nanoseconds of games and came up with new and enhanced dark cheese, blue beam cheese, photon cheese that will obliterate your taste buds. Now, 3 trillion nanoseconds is just
I was trying to do the math on that.
That's just 3 seconds, right? I think.
I don't know. Nanosecond is a million.
Or is that a
nanoseconds in a
billion?
second?
Maybe it's 300. It's either 3,000
There's probably a few
or
days,
3.
I think.
It's either 3,000 or I forget. No, is
Milliseconds is
nanobillion?
3,000. And so I think nanos.
Yeah.
Oh, then there's
Yeah.
microseconds as well. Oh, geez, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not know.
So 3 trillion nanoseconds. Yeah. So milli, micro. Micro is the opposite of mega, which is million. Then maybe nano is a billion. So maybe it's 3,000 seconds.
Whatever it is, it's going to
We'll
be.
see.
It's going to be cheesy based on the story.
I'm clearly going to check as we're loading into the game. So, which I think we are potentially ready to do now. So we will get into the game, then I'll tell you the answer.
Tier. Sharkbot.
Okay, so we are deep into this game already at the 2-minute mark.
We are indeed.
Yep.
And yeah, it is 3,000. So yeah, nanoseconds 1 billion. So 3 trillion nanoseconds is just 3,000 seconds.
There you
which
go.
is
Not that much
just
training.
yeah, just under an hour.
So Marine's taking down the
Yeah, the pylon.
pylon there, but there was an SCV there, so I'm wondering if it was blocking something from being produced.
Yeah, it seems like Tier's looking around for maybe this.
Well, he's looking around with 3 SCVs, so I think we might have missed something. He might have been on harass run in the first couple minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, with these ones, with these guys, a lot of action can happen right when the game starts.
Yeah, and
Not too afraid of using the workers.
Yeah, the bunker should be pretty well placed here. Sharkbot, though, may just bypass it. He's in a position to use the air gap to his advantage, which is really good on this map. So he's kind of going to end up in a situation where you're potentially bypassing this bunker entirely and you can get to the mineral line. He's doing the shield battery thing so that the void rays can be pulled back and heal if he does encounter something like Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But the important part is it does need to be pulled back to heal. These batteries are not like sitting
Not
at the third
close.
base. They're pretty far away at the fourth. Well, not that far, but
it's not that bad. But
yeah.
it's
now that I'm looking at it, for fourth base, that's very close to the main.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad. He'll have to go in. I don't know how I feel though about just one Stargate. You'll often do this with 2, and then that kind of spirals really quickly.
Yeah, and this is looking, I think, pretty good for tier, just seeing with all the 3 racks there. Sharkbot did say blue beam cheese, which makes me think he's this is not going to be like Proxy Tempest. So for that, just a bunch of Marines is kind of the way to go. So the lack of tech out of tier is actually ideal, I think.
Yeah, and while I don't, he's getting under these, which is really good. And I often say that bots kind of fail to do that. They don't run under air units to shoot them.
Yeah.
And even though that kind of get cleaned up, it was the right thing to do, like to run underneath and try and catch them.
Yeah. It's easier said than done to run under
Yeah.
enemy units because bots usually don't let you run under.
Yes.
It's like, well, just jump on this unit. It's just, well, every time I move forward, it moves back. You know,
Yeah,
stupid bots. Actually, all the Marines going down. No even hull damage, I don't think, yet to these Void Rays. So
yeah, he's also got 2 tech labs going and researching here, and unfortunately, like while it would be nice to get to stim and the combat shields, it's hindering the production that is required to live that long.
Yeah, I mean, building Marauders also hinders the, the Marine count quite a bit.
Yeah, they don't shoot up very well.
Yeah, hopefully those Marauders start heading across the map and doing some counter damage, because they're not going to do much at home against Void Rays.
Yeah, and we're not seeing any response in terms of like turrets or anything like that either. Widow Mines is another thing. If you get a factory out, can do a fairly decent job against Void Rays, but yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like that'll be the case. He hasn't moved down to the natural yet to work on them there, but since all the production is here, he's just kind of camping it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much he can do here. He will get the upgrades done on his bio units. The problem is, like, as the bio units pop out, they just instantly die. Like, they can't even keep the shields from maxing out, like, basically, so... Yeah, it was a very good start for tier. I liked the build order. There just wasn't an adjustment to the proxy voids, so having like 3 racks opener, I think, is just the perfect counter to this.
Yeah.
But not when you're going tech labs and marauders and upgrades. If you just start pumping marines one at a time or reactoring marines, then that's the way to go.
Yeah, especially since he had the like he had all the material I think required that he kind of like pull to the bunker. He had 2 bases, so he didn't really have to defend one necessarily. And like could have bunkered up and waited for a little more to accumulate and then kind of gone in and taken them out, because I think he went with like 4 marines. If that was like 6 7, that might have been okay to pick one off, but
yeah, even going with 4 I don't think was, I can't remember if it was 4, even if it was 5, like against 2 void rays, that's not going to work.
It's not enough.
Like, even without shield batteries, I don't think you can kill even one with that, especially with bot micro.
Yeah, it looked like he got like the shields down, and that was about it. And then they died. So yeah, but yeah, good map for that. And yeah, at first I thought it was a bigger air gap too. It wasn't. That's actually quite close. He didn't even really need it anyway, because there just wasn't the correct response. Well, there was kind of the correct response in stuff. There wasn't the correct response in doing things.
Yeah, I mean, I think a major factor of this too is he had 3 SCVs off the line right from the start of the game doing something. We missed what it was, but maybe it was some special plan that he backed out of when he realized he was getting cheesed, or maybe it was just harassed, it didn't go well to put him behind. Like that's a big resource, 3 SCVs at the start of the game. So if it's not getting work done, then I can hold you back too.
Yeah, you can't be behind when you're getting hit with that. You kind of got to make a decision to go one way or the other. Usually, like Viking does okay. Actually, Vikings in human hands can be risky because you can so easily jump on them and turn the beams on. But in bot hands, I would think it would be potentially easier. But I don't know. You probably know better.
Vikings are good against the proxy Tempest, but Void Rays are so much faster than Vikings now that Vikings are actually kind of terrible versus Void Rays, because you can't kite them. They just chase you down.
Yeah,
you can't turn on their
the
heavy beam and chase you down, but you can't kite them like you used to.
Yeah, true. So we'll see if we get a repeat of that or some other type of cheese. It sounded like we've got a variety of cheeses to select from. Let's see what happens here.
Tier. Sharkbot.
Okay, so right away I see more than one structure and in an odd location on the map. Perhaps this is what the SCVs were planning in the previous game.
Yeah, seems like. Well, then there's the other 3 SCVs. Maybe this is what happened.
Yeah.
So he got poked in, pulled
Yeah.
3 SCVs to deal with it, and they took him across the map.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened, I think.
Yeah.
They better at least get the probe kill if they're going to chase it all the way back to the Protoss base.
Almost certainly not. They're not even going back to the Protoss base. They're just going somewhere. I wonder, is that, I kind of wonder, did they encounter it in their own base, or did they catch this thing trying to proxy something and now they're obsessed with it? But we'll see too. So Reapers, there is already a Stalker starting on this side, which is a reasonable response, and he's chronoing it out.
The other weird thing is there's 3 SCVs building those 2 barracks, so...
Yeah.
Unless there's a Warcraft 3 mechanic going on here, that's one too many SCVs. So that's 6 SCVs off the line for tier. Which I guess is fine if you're going Reapers, because you know, they're always bottlenecked by gas, not by minerals. And there's actually only 1 gas geyser down for tier as well.
Interesting here, though, to get 1 Reaper and then immediately go with double Tech Lab.
Transition to a Marauder Rush, perhaps?
Is that a Reactor? Okay, Reactor and Tech Lab. Yeah, so the Stalker comes out. He's not going to keep that 1 Reaper alive.
No. Will he be able to get the Stalker, though? That Stalker is quite low.
Close. Yeah. So he's gonna
Oh,
shoot.
wasn't even a double kill. The Stalker just survives with 1 hit.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Ouchie. So yeah, maybe he'll get... So this is okay. I wonder if that's worth it. We don't know exactly what he was going to do because they never get to go up there. But the proxy Marauder, but with the stopgap of the 2 Reapers first, are you better off just going directly to the Marauder?
Maybe. Well, I mean, if he got that Stalker, it would have been so much different. Because that 1 hit point is all that Stalker needs. Now it has full batteries, or full shields, and a shield battery on offense.
Yeah.
And 3 Stalkers trying to fight these 2 Marauders, although they're not actually shooting, which is not good. So these 2 Marauders are actually able to handily win that fight. Nope, maybe not.
No finish. No finish.
Now it's back to Reapers again. Okay.
Yeah. And the Reaper's going to chase it down? No. The
This is interesting.
The injured Stalkers just go left. And they're in tier space now. These 2 Reapers will probably get taken out. But the Marauders here, 1 super low, will get picked off by that Stalker. But reinforcements, this now looks okay.
Yeah. And on the other side of the map, I see some flashing in the mineral line there. We got a Stalker, which is slowly dealing with his entire mineral line. Even a probe is in there messing with an SCV.
Certain things.
Actually, between that probe and the supply depot, it's actually blocking an entire mineral patch from getting mined. So yeah, both bots getting beaten up on either side of the map here.
Yeah, a couple Marauders here now with a little buffer room. This is pretty formidable. I still kind of feel like the Marines and Reaper part isn't adding as much to it. Like, I'd rather just have 2 more Marauders. But I guess it depends what the response is. Like, knowing it's Stalkers. Obviously, this is better, but...
Yeah. I mean, certainly the fact that the Reapers don't want to reuse their health regen is like... It's kind of... If you're not going to do that, you might as well make minerals. Or make Marines. The good thing that Marauders are on top of the probes here, though, because Terran's about to run out of income, so they need to do devastating damage right now, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Probes getting pulled to fight some, but that means they're not mining. And one thing I will notice, if you look at the banks, tier can make a lot of Marines.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's going to be key here. I don't know how many more units we're going to get out of Sharkbot. Like, the Stalker may actually be the last one to come out, as the minerals are low, the gas is high. That's always something that can happen, like when the mineral line's being attacked, is it kind of depends who is being attacked. You can end up with like 2 guys mining minerals and 3 guys or 6 guys still on gas, and then you end up really imbalanced.
And I think somehow tier is actually still mining on the other side of the map, if I can see it correctly. I think there's so whatever happened with that Stalker, it stopped shooting workers. So this is looking amazing now for Tier. He doesn't have any gas, so he's not going to be able to build the units he wants to build.
Yeah. Which seems to be just stopping all his production. But I don't know if he's got, yeah, there's a lift up. Or a repair too, which is helpful. But yeah, the fact this is an orbital, even if he loses all his workers, he can still mule to something. Although is he now that probe is blocking it from landing again. But I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is definitely should be a victory for Tier. The question is, can he close it out? The production tab is completely empty, so it looks like he doesn't want to build Marines. And if he doesn't, can he beat the Stalker and the Shield Battery? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there's only one bot that can throw this, and that's Tier. Tier either wins or he throws.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good way to do it. See 4 Marines getting separated from the 2 Marauders. That could definitely fall to this one
that'll
Stalker
be
here.
interesting. If it steps away too much, then it may. Oh, okay, or if it just sits there.
Yeah, and it's not shooting back.
Yeah.
So that battery is useless now. Used up all his energy, now it's depowered.
Yep, that was strange. Yeah, the Stalker literally doesn't want to go into range. I guess it evaluates this as a bad fight, but then why it's chasing them at all kind of is odd. But yeah.
Well, it wants to attack, it just doesn't want to attack 4-on-1. So it's like...
So yeah, as soon as that was taken out too, the production kicked back in. And yeah, now we get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it
So
looks
we
like
are-
the gas mining's kicked in again, so now Tier's actually able to build what it wants to build.
Yep, so we are going to end up at 1-1 on this. Is there another struck? Oh yeah, the battery that's unpowered.
And there's a
pilot?
proxy, I believe, as
Yeah,
well, right?
Yeah.
Which is unscouted, but it should be appearing now the Nexus is down, so Tier should be able to see it on his mini-map. This is always a good test for new bots, you know, if they're smart enough to do all this different, like, cleanup stuff.
Yeah, we definitely had that happen where like somebody does a Reaper Rush, but it's targeted towards the main base, and then they just accumulate there forever and never actually find it. So yeah, here's the weird behavior replay. Yeah, the pylon eventually dies, and that's it.
Yeah, game won or lost on that Stalker there. It should never have survived to begin with, and then
Yeah.
it should have cleared out the mineral line of SCVs, and it didn't. And yeah, it's weird. That was a good game. So yeah, going to final game here. Do or die for these bots.
Yeah, and now I have no prediction of what's going to happen because none of that made any sense. And yeah, so I'm curious that is Tier gonna do the same thing because it worked? Sharkbot changed up even though the last thing kind of worked and did something different, but you could easily see the Void Ray one being map specific. So it makes sense. But yeah, are we gonna get maybe cannon rushing a Terran's not always the best idea, but that was something mentioned.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's on the menu. I mean, this is probably the 3rd course from his Michelin restaurant coming out, so...
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't be a
Maybe
Michelin
we'll see.
restaurant if you serve the same dish as the previous round, so... I gotta
true.
suspect something new.
I've never quite understood how a tire company ended up rating restaurants, but it happened.
Yeah, that is
and
a
we've
weird one.
all accepted it. So yeah,
Well, that
we'll
explains
see.
how their mascot got so fat.
That's true. That's true. He's very, very puffy,
Trying to
durable man.
see the quote here. Enhanced dark cheese, blue beam cheese, and photon cheese.
Mhm.
So we definitely saw blue beams.
Dark cheese. That
Dark
makes
Templar.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so maybe we'll get some of. Actually, this one easily could have been going in that direction, and he just didn't get there.
That's true. That's true as well.
Yeah.
Tier. Sharkbot.
for anyone trying to get builds from ChatGPT, it will confidently answer you. And that's it.
Yeah.
It will confidently tell you something, and it will be totally wrong. But this is interesting. So we've got the pylon block at the top of the ramp to basically hold him inside his own area, and then we've got photon cannons coming down on the low ground, and presumably that will then. I wonder if he knows that it baits this specific behavior, because this will be bad in a moment.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, if he didn't pull any SCVs, I think he's got the win almost guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. It's too
The
long.
Sharkbot is cannoned out blocked out, and Tyr has his production out on the map anyways. So
Yeah.
But yeah, he did go back to mining. He saw the cannon. And he's like aborted that defense, which is nice. That's coded in there.
Very good. And to get in to continue this, you kind of have to kill your own pylon to start building on the high ground. So yeah, I wonder if this was designed to like bait a malfunction more than anything.
Yeah, he might just be doing a macro game behind this, or it could be into the proxy voids again or something like that. That's a nice way to start a proxy, is to secure the low ground, and then you got this nice forward position to start building shield batteries at and whatnot. But so far, I can't really tell what Sharkbot's up to, because there's no gateway or extra cannons.
Yeah. Yeah, and you
There
usually
is
need
500 minerals in the bank, though.
Yes, there is. There's no gas either. So, okay, he's just going to expand. But defying those plans will be these Reapers coming in from the side. They see the cannon and don't seem to mind. They're not prepared for that. But yeah, the Marauders will fare a little bit better in that situation.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, it looks like the cannon's always going to have probe support, so
yeah,
I could see that cannon holding a lot for a long time. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think once you get to like 4 Marauders, it's just going to die by accident.
It might almost be good for Tyr if he lets that Nexus finish too, because that could be like a trap to bring all the probes down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could definitely see that working out. Yeah, Reaper. Once again, like there are situations where the Reaper Marauder mix could be good, but both things we've seen, it's not. And like pure Marauder would have ended up being better. Yeah, if he gets in too deep here and only focuses on the probes, these could get picked off, but I think he's always going to move back enough.
Yeah, and I mean, and Sharkbot has plenty of money to replace these probes.
Yeah.
So there we saw 3 Marauders in range of the cannon and didn't even dent the cannon. So again, these probes are doing their job and taking that damage. But this is what I was worried about for Sharkbot. Now that he has the Nexus to the natural, I think more probes are going to want to trail off there to their death.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have infinite probes, even though he's got a lot of minerals in the bank still. I know he doesn't actually have a lot of minerals. I take that back.
Yeah. He keeps
Wait, what's going on?
Build something.
Oh, he's trying to build a Nexus somewhere.
He's trying to build something because he had 400 and something. Yeah, it keeps alternating. I don't know where he's trying to do that. I guess out there. But yeah, now it's funny. He's just literally not caring about that cannon at all. Like he doesn't even recognize it. But it's not gonna matter.
Well, in 99% of scenarios, if you have a choice to shoot a probe or shoot something else, it's probably best to shoot the probe.
Yeah.
So it's working well here. Yeah, what Sharkbot's build is completely broken. It doesn't know how to tech, so whenever it does bank up a lot of money, it just keeps expanding.
Yeah.
So if he was not getting harassed, I think he'd be on like 8 Nexuses without a gateway right now.
Yeah. Yeah, which is odd because I wonder what the closing like. Was it really just a delay to macro, but then you still got to do the other things? So unless it was like I'm going to go to 4 base and then I'll take a gas, it doesn't. A lot of it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing he's trying to build a gateway maybe inside of Tyr's base or something like that.
Yeah.
See, the problem is when you make these cheese builds, you don't want your opponent to know about it. So you never show it on ladder, but that means you never practice with it either versus like versus a good bot. So you may not know what happens when you actually see it in ProBots, and unfortunately this is the worst case scenario. Started off very well, able to block off that ramp and get the cannon contained, but just didn't have that follow-up. And Tier still has, not much gas income, but enough to keep these Marauders coming.
He's kind of been stabilizing in workers, though. Like, he got down to like 6, and now he's back up to 12 somehow. Because,
yeah.
like, it's weird.
Actually, you know what? I think I kind of like Sharkbot's chances here.
Tier might mine out.
Yeah, exactly. If he mines out his main base, it's over.
Yeah.
And Sharkbot has infinite money as long as he doesn't lose all of his probes.
Yeah.
And as long as, if that cannon does his job, which it's doing.
Because he keeps losing, like, I think he got down as low as 6, and there's like 11, but right back up to 12. And, unless it gets to like a critical point. Yeah, I mean, how many kills does that cannon have?
Yeah, the Reapers are a little bit of a game changer. They get in there a bit, but
22 kills. He's lost 13 Marauders, 9 Reapers.
51 probes down.
51 probes have died, but he's got the same number.
So here's the problem.
Now it may be. This has to kind of end it. He's got to. If he clears out all of these, then he might be fine. Yeah, or now can you replace them quick enough?
Yeah. So the Reapers don't care about the cannon, but they're also just. There's no reason for it to run near the cannon either. So they jump in the back of the main base, find the probes.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So then that would die. And as pointed out by the observer, that was the last mining probe. There's 3 more, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah, and the mineral's at 0 now, so
yeah,
that should do it. I think he'll even not have to kill the powered cannon. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, he still has to kill the ones back the other side of the map, but that'll be fine. He'll come in with like.
I thought we were going to see Sharkbot move on without building a gateway.
Yeah, that would
have the starve out tier build.
There was a legitimate threat there. Yeah. Like if
the
we
Reapers
take a look
saved
at
it because I think the Marauders alone.
Tier's mineral line, I'm sure we're down to just the 4 patches now. But it looks like he's teching to other things and doing other stuff.
Yeah, and he took a second gas, so.
Yeah. So it could have done something.
Yeah, there are 3 cannons here, which is good, but Tier's not that close to broke, and he's still, even if he was broke, that's a lot of Marauders. Not the smartest Marauders, but they are a lot.
Yeah, it's just strange behavior around.
That's all he needed, though. We'll kill one of them, and then he's got range on the pylon.
Oh, he's not finishing. Okay, high ground. High ground Reapers for the win.
What is
so despite Tier's best efforts, he wins. He tried to lose this in every way he could, but but is going to carry on. You might want to take a look at cannon recognition coding or something.
And just keep in mind, like, Sharkbot's probably the strongest macro bot for Protoss that we have.
Yeah.
And Tier is able to, beat Eris in a macro game. He's done it to win the championship. And then they come in and they do this. Yeah. So much fun. Weird. But
definitely more entertaining to do this style. So
right.
There we have it. Our first to advance on to the round of 4, where things are going to start to become a best of 5, which is going to be potentially even more interesting. Given what we just saw. So congrats to Tier and Sharkbot. Sharkbot always coming in with the really correct spirit behind all this. Because, you can there are probably better builds he could have done, or like safer, whatever. But Sharkbot always comes in with like the spirit of entertainment, like putting on a good show.
Yeah. I mean, like, we just saw one of his games recently on Laughing Games channel, and he has this, like, sick late game versus Terran where he just gets a lot of shield battery cannon everywhere and just hides behind them with Tempest and just constantly picks away at range. It's such a very, very difficult late game to deal with, so.
Sure. Speaking of difficult late game to deal with,
yeah.
Benbot can be very, very turtley. We'll try and get up to later tech and do bunker rushes to get things going in order to kind of get to the late game. and is just very defensive, keeps everything alive, whatever. So this is going to be an interesting one to see with a pretty high elo of 1927 here.
Yeah, this will be an interesting matchup. Phobos kind of has that really good synergy with all of his units, making his tanks and liberators and bio all work together really well. But he has to push through like maybe the toughest front line to face, which is the bunker, siege tank, missile turret, widow mine front line of Benbot BC, with the obviously BCs behind it. So
yeah, and and here's Phobos, 1997 elo. It's a 90s kid. And yeah, like you said, it's shown vast improvement. So even its ratings and everything here is probably not indicative of where it is right now. It's where it was like a month or two ago. So yeah, it's making leaps and bounds. I'm gonna check the notes to see if they've given updates or anything.
yeah, I mean, like when we saw Phobos last season, we basically saw one of the strongest Terran bots that had just a lot of holes in its game, and you have one hole and like you lose all of your SCVs or something like that. You just got to make sure you can always like you got to check all those boxes of like stupid things bots can do, and let's see if Phobos has checked off that entire list now. We can actually see
so
if
he's
it's
got
doing its best.
got some notes here. Just improved build orders versus random. Not going to be a factor today, but could be if Zena comes up. Added adaptations versus various cheeses. That could be a lot of things. And added ghosts for late game versus Zerg, if only there were any Zergs left, is what he wrote. Because I think there is one Zerg left. But
This is for tier?
this is for Phobos, sorry. And then Benbot.
Oh, sorry.
Benbot minor fixes, build order changes against Phobos and Ketrak. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like, but no details.
I see a little bit different for Phobos here. I'm not sure if you clicked on the right one, but I see it says add a new TVT opener with a cyclone drop.
Oh, that's the previous one. They're out of order for some reason.
Ah, okay,
So
okay.
that's
But we
from
still
that-
could
that's
see
from
that.
our-
We-
yeah, you
it
could
is a
end up
TVT,
seeing that.
So
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well, it
was
looks
gonna
like
be-
we are ready for the next match. So
Okay. Let's jump in and see what happens.
I'm
These ones
excited to catch
could
this.
these ones could be long ones, but they should be good.
Benbot BC. Phobos.
Uh-oh.
So has Benbot full walled his natural?
It looks like it, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting tactics.
And Phobos has some idle SCVs in his main base. Maybe they're just pulled like way too early to build structures. I was a little bit worried that his bot was breaking, but it seems like it's okay now. Reaper.
It's an unconfident Reaper.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to jump.
I think it's actually trying to stay out of the melee range of the SCV, which is actually pushing
yeah.
it to the low ground, which
Yeah.
is too bad because that is a perfect spot to be. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing weaker in StarCraft 2 than an SCV producing a structure.
Yeah, he definitely could have delayed that for quite a bit. So, yeah, okay, now
Nice
go
of him to wait for the structure to complete.
Yeah, that's a considerate Reaper. Does take on a Marine, but runs away from the other few coming up.
But already a nice upgrade from the Reapers we saw in the previous matchup, where these Reapers are smart enough to get the kill and go back and grab their... That's actually a visual glitch there. It's not actually moving to the high ground.
Yeah.
There's some doodads that make your units look like they're on the high, like standing on top of them.
Yeah. Interesting there. Well, he's kindly waiting for this trap to be placed to catch him. There he goes. And yeah, just not interested in being there. But that's fine. Neither of these bots are particularly aggressive early game. Like both of them, Benbot will do the occasional bunker rush, but it's not really meant to win the game, even though sometimes it does. And Phobos not particularly going to be, or that just looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Phobos actually doing like the Destiny Cloudfist build here with the 1/1/1. So I think we're going to be seeing a
Yeah, he
one-base
may
push
go.
out of him. And like I said, like that is his bread and butter, you know, just making all these units work well together, the tech units and the small bio at the start of the game. Let's see if he can push through that wall off for Benbot, because still no expansion out of Phobos, so the attack's got to be coming soon.
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah, he's got the medevac there. Like he does have better drop play now than just like a month ago. Cyclone drop, like you pointed out, but he also just does marine drops as well, it seems. But
Yeah.
I don't know what that man may just be there for normal support.
3 siege tanks, third one being built now, so it doesn't look like it's going to be that cyclone drop that was mentioned. It just feels like a frontline push, and I really feel like it can work.
Yeah.
Benbot only starting its tech units now. He's all Marine Hellion on his side of the map.
If there's a trigger to go, it may be this Raven finishing, because you probably wouldn't want to wait too much longer on this, because you're going to get that 2 base economy start to really kick in. Although on Benbot's side, despite having the 2 bases the whole time, the worker count's really similar. So they're on a pretty similar economy now, and it's only going to be in a tiny bit that it pulls away.
Yeah, well, he's got the 2 mules as well. That's always a
Yeah.
big thing for Terran. Yeah, I'm really wondering what Phobos is waiting on. This push has got to come soon,
Yeah.
or Benbot's bigger economy is just gonna kick in.
Yeah.
Already
Yeah,
has
the
a siege
timer.
tank out, and you know,
Yeah, Widow Mines. The Raven is good for the Widow Mines. Like that's kind of the key to go against Benbot. So it looks like he is going to make that move out now. And this is a pretty good chunk of army, but it's not like a crazy higher amount. It's like 9 supply more. And then if he leaves things back in that bunker, then I don't know what he's doing exactly.
neither do I. These tanks need to come. There we go.
I
Yeah.
think all of it kind of needs to come. Like
Yeah, even the bunker should empty, I guess.
Yeah, it should be, because it's too close to leave anything back if you're going with this. If he gets in a really good position, then it could be beneficial. But yeah, he sees them, sieges up. Get the turrets dropping, but the tank will help with that one.
Yeah, nice turret play. He's putting them down right in the right position where, you know, they'll at least get a few shots off without actually suiciding the Raven as well. And I do like the Benbots coming out to meet him out in the field here. That means the siege tanks were not able to like start sieging up in range of the bunker, for instance. That is the big advantage here for Phobos, is just the siege tank count is like 4 to 2, 5 to 2, something like that.
The turret going right up front will help a little bit if he does end up getting the air superiority. It'll be a place to retreat back to. Tanks will move up and try and get into range.
Yeah, I think they got range on that turret now, so
Yeah.
that's not long for this world.
Can you pick off that Raven? That would be pretty huge. Yeah. There is a second one, but those are expensive when you're trying to keep the air superiority.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's become down to the Viking count.
Yeah.
These siege tanks don't really want to move forward too much. I see a couple on sieging the back. Okay, there we go. But yeah, it looks like every time the Marines step forward just a touch, they re-siege again. Siege tanks are kind of a pain where you can get in the dance of like unsieging and sieging just based
Yeah.
on the requirements you set up for those 2 tasks, just because the enemy units are always moving back and forward.
And here's the real transition into the BCs, which were inevitable. But it took a lot of damage there. It just kind of wandered into like 12 Marines and a bunch of Vikings. But as that's going to be like the play to get Yamato up in a little bit. And if you start to get 2 or 3 BCs, then this could become a real.
Yeah. And even the angle of that
hard
third
to
base is allowing him Benbot to move out and take it, which is really nice for him. We do have a second base and third base actually out of Phobos as well. But I would love to see these tanks step forward. They just, whatever range requirement they have, like they see those Marines and are like, nah, we don't want to do it.
Yeah,
But I have
very-
my bot is kind of like a leapfrogging technique where the
Yeah.
lead tank doesn't want to unsiege very much, but the ones behind are a little bit more willing.
Yeah, that makes sense. The bio here on Benbot's side is really getting cleared out, but it'll matter a little less maybe in a minute or two when things kind of more get replaced by the air stuff. The one widow mine on that ramp is excellent.
Hmm.
Just that existing is quite helpful because there is a risk, of course, that you can end up wrapping around and just taking out that third base, but that just being there is super helpful. Here's the BC now raining down on everything, and there's not the Vikings at least don't seem interested in engaging that.
Yeah, which I don't mind at all. You know, if you can pull them back to the Marines, that's ideal.
Yeah.
There's still one Raven remaining, and from the scans, we do know that these Widow Mines have multiple ways of being dealt with.
Yeah.
I don't think constantly scanning the Widow Mines in the natural is too useful right now with nothing in
No.
range, but it does
Yeah.
mean if that Raven goes down, it's not like the Widow Mines are now invulnerable or something.
He's getting some
Siege
shots
Tank's
off.
getting forward, yeah.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
we now got that bunker just gonna go. But now the BC's kind of got free reign as well. All the Marines dying. So
it looks
down to
like-
the low ground. High ground is cleared.
Yeah, these things will get pushed back. I kind of want to see them just go up that ramp because I want that Widow Mine to work, but they won't.
Yeah. And I don't mind this pullback from Phobos. He's kind of lost air superiority completely. His siege tank count, like, he's basically behind in every way with this army. So now it's more about, did Phobos do enough to transition and still be in the game?
Yeah.
He does have 3 fully saturated bases, where Benbot is now taking a 4th.
Yeah, I think Benbot's probably at the worker limit that he's going to be at, and it's army from here on out. Both of them even in army supply. Benbot with upgrade advantages, but also just kind of this later game tack in the form of BCs that it wants to get to, and it's going to be hard for him to deal with this.
Yep. We do have upgrades on the side of Phobos as well, which you don't
Yeah.
always see when a bot is planning a one base all in sort of idea. So
Yeah,
it is nice to see those transitions a full one. It's not just taking expansions, but it's actually getting everything as well. The high-tech units, the upgrades. But like you said, that's a 4 upgrade lead right now for Benbot. So for the next foreseeable future, Benbot's got a big upgrade advantage.
yeah, and we're now at that point in the economy too, where this is 3 BCs at a time. And given that that's kind of where he wants to get to, it's going to be potentially rough going. But Phobos can. I expect some maybe more late game transition tricks, like if he can stall this out a little bit, potentially have a solution to it. But we'll see. 4 at a time now.
Yeah. And a healthy Viking count as well, which I'd like to see. Vikings can kite BCs basically infinitely, so it's nice to see them have some Viking of his own to help protect his BCs. It's usually what happens with bots is like you get the one Viking for free with Yamato, and then after that it's just free damage on the BC until it jumps away.
Yeah.
Repairing SCV is assigned to chase the Vikings through a planetary and Widow Mines.
BCs being pretty. Here's where like the lack of upgrades,
yeah.
is going to really hurt because these BCs are going to be so tanky to Marines, like they don't even care.
There's certain units there like where upgrades are super important, and Marines and BCs are both those types of units.
Yeah, you can get down to a point where firing at a BC does literally half a point of damage.
Yeah.
So you need to shoot it twice in order to even harm it. And yeah, he's getting pushed back here. The army supply going pretty strong in his favor, and we're approaching a max out point pretty soon.
Yeah, this
But
is looking
but
incredible
Benbot is not a finisher though, so so we're gonna still have plenty of time. It's not like he hits max and then goes across the map. We're gonna be here a while.
Yeah, and we got like the +2 upgrades on the way for Phobos. We do have 5 bases now. He's non-stop Viking production. So the opportunity is there to get back into the game, even though at this moment in time he's losing in every possible metric. But you say he has no killer instinct, but that is Benbot moving across the map, which is
Yeah.
absolutely perfect timing, I think, to move out.
Yeah, I kind of think that it's a factor of he's just chasing down the units, but that works. If it
You think as
leads
soon
him
as he
right,
loses vision of him,
yeah,
he'll go back home?
maybe it's happened, but now he sees the base, so maybe this triggers. Okay, attack this thing.
Yeah, so siege tanks set up an okay position. I think those marines will fall quickly, but how do you deal with the BCs and Vikings? And I believe the answer is you don't. So that's going to be one dead base, which just puts Benbot even further ahead once yet again.
Yeah, especially if he gets on top of the production here and kind of picks things up as they come out. The Vikings getting really brave there, but such a good job. You always get a hit with, like, when someone goes BCs, you got to get to that point that you're a threat to single shot them or like two volley them. But like if it's too slow, they can always teleport away, and then you just never end up killing anything. Even though you're doing economic damage, they have to repair whatever. You never actually take it off the map.
Yeah, or just don't let them get out of hand with
Yeah,
the economy lead. Because, you know, like if a Yamato, a Viking, lose all their hit points,
what
jump away, and repair, that's kind of even. You know,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
spending about a Viking worth of repair money on it, and
yeah,
but like
yeah, yeah. It's when you're losing 4 Vikings and the same thing happens. That
yeah, like
it's
when he gets to the
problematic.
point where he has more BCs and you have Vikings, and then you
Yeah,
can't even force him to jump away, and yeah, it can get really bad.
yeah. At this point where he's actually landed his Vikings there for a moment.
Why not? They're
Yeah,
going to die
might as
anyways.
well
You might
go.
as well go Art of the Storm cinematic style.
Yeah.
The Suicide Land.
All right, so pretty good performance there by Benbot. I kind of think Phobos looked like it was a good position. It was a good push, but maybe a little late to go in. And then it kind of once you make that, knowing where Benbot is going, you're kind of on a clock that he's going into that higher tech. So you have to have something to deal with it. Usually, the way that people end up winning against Benbot is when the first PCs come out, you have enough to just smack them down, so it never spirals. But if it gets to that spiral point, then it
Yeah, I agree. Phobos moved out a little bit late, but I think he was still there in plenty of time. He had a huge air superiority lead, and had like triple the siege tank count. He just needed to keep moving those
get
tanks
there.
forward.
Yeah, yeah,
And the fact that he just sat in the one position and allowed the larger economy of Benbot to kick in.
yeah,
And then Benbot basically played it perfect from that point forward. I didn't even have anything bad to say about Benbot.
yeah,
Even his timing of pushing out, I think that's like the most ideal time to push.
yeah.
You know, right when he gets the lead, like in almost every single way, that's when he goes for the kill.
Yeah, definitely agree there. And also the map really worked in his favor of like having the third off to the side and the tanks
Mhm.
were on the other side.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
having
worked.
that like perfectly kind of like shielded off by Phobos's own positioning, then that was good. So that could easily be different on a different map that doesn't have the choke points and like kind of base location. But yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
if a map makes a difference. And very often, particularly in TVT, a map can make a giant difference.
Yeah, I mean the problem with that game going perfectly for Benbot BC is that he'll never have a better game.
Yeah,
No matter what happens in game
yeah, yeah,
2 and game 3, it's going to be better for Phobos.
yeah.
So we'll have to see if it's better enough to actually take a victory or not.
Yep. Let's jump in and find out.
Benbot BC. Phobos.
Yeah. So this, like talk about a different map. The shape of this one is going to be a lot better. I think for Phobos, depending on the angle of attack, if he were to do the same thing, and it kind of looks like he is. in a similar way.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, it depends, right? Those tanks are at the coming up the ramp. Then
Yeah.
I still feel like there's that ability for Benbot to just kind of walk over to the third base and take it.
Yeah,
But,
if he gets blocked there, I think you're putting. Yeah, it really depends the angle. If he tries to just walk up into that, if he somehow loops around and gets in the high ground, then that would be better. But I don't know if it'll do that. But he could also end up sieging closer on the low ground and then have vision enabled to cover it. So I don't know. We'll see. See there.
mm-hmm.
Positioning of tanks on the defensive side also probably matter. If they're kind of in the bottom right corner, then that's probably best. If they get stuck back closer to the ramp, then it doesn't cover as well.
Yeah, it is very much looking like we've seen the exact same strategies as game one.
Yeah.
So we got the one gas build out of Benbot, allowing him to get a bunch of Marines, Hellions, and a fast expansion. Meanwhile, Phobos is taking the double gas, allowing him to get the higher tech units like siege tanks, medevacs, Vikings. And yeah, it could be an awkward angle for Benbot actually defending that ramp.
Yeah.
He does have the high ground, assuming that Phobos comes from the low ground to his natural choke. But then his units will kind of be out of position because of that terrain blocker. So
yeah, that's
I
kind
could see
of
the
what I'm
tanks getting
thinking.
much closer
Yeah.
for Phobos this time.
Yeah.
And the high ground isn't such a bad thing if Phobos has good air control and good micro on his air units, and he did have that in game one. So
Yeah, and he scanned a lot too. Which
Oh,
was healthy.
this is different.
Probably too much. Yeah, but you're right. It is different.
so Phobos going with the.
Yeah.
Is he dropping Reapers? Is that what he's doing? There's other ways for those to get to the high ground.
Is that Reaper? Okay, the turret here is interesting. Location. Maybe he knows this. Is it all Reapers or is it like Marines and Reapers?
I actually didn't
I
catch
don't
it.
know what's
He did
getting.
build
That's
it.
what's in there.
Maybe it was the factory
Is it-
units. Maybe it's Hellions.
Yeah, he's making Marines now, so this is going to come right into the turret, and we'll. Oh,
There's
Hellions.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I got 3 of them out. That's nice. These SCVs are meant to defend
Yeah.
the missile turret, are actually distracting perfectly, allowing the Marines to clean up the Hellions. And I don't know what happened to the Reapers, but they aren't on the minimap, so
No.
that was a gigantic fail out of Phobos.
Yeah.
Well done, Benbot PC.
You must have seen, like, there's no way you're putting the turret exactly there unless you know that's exactly what you're expecting.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, I
that's-
can't even say if we saw that turn in game one or not. It was
I-
just one of those things.
He
that was,
usually puts it here, down up front, and so for him to do it on that corner, like in the middle of, kind of in the middle of nowhere, unless you knew specifically, because it flew right over it.
Yeah.
It's not. It wasn't like approximately near it. It was directly.
yeah, it could be a snipe from what Phobos is
Yeah.
doing. Either that or it's just like a fantastically
Yeah, fortunate.
fortunate
Yeah.
position, we'll say.
Yeah.
Because it's not abnormal to put a missile turret on like the far
Yeah,
side of your
no.
base, especially on a big main base like that.
Yeah, it's not
don't know.
crazy. It's just it's whatever. Yeah, this is actually what I was talking about, the tank positioning, and I think you were too. Like, this tank is so far back that had he done the other thing, that it may not have been, like, it may not have stopped him from shelling that bunker.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And if Phobos tank's just up on the low ground, then he has to walk around to go down
Yeah.
the ramp to get there. So yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And we might still see that push out of Phobos. It's just obviously going to come a lot later and smaller because of the
Yeah.
initial aggression that kind of failed. But you know, last game one, he did have a lot of time with this push to do something. So if he can get initial position really good this time, I think it doesn't matter if it shows up like 2 or 3 minutes later.
Yeah, and I think Phobos this time taking a third base quicker than his opponent. Benbot's making it in base, so he'll float it down. So I guess they're about even.
Wins Hellion or a Blue Flame? Blue Flame Hellion or a Reaper? I actually don't know. I think Reaper beats the Hellion, right? But probably not
Yeah.
with Blue Flame.
The Hellion thought that the Reaper wins, at
Yeah.
least. So
And
maybe
he brought
he's
some
right.
friends.
Yeah,
That third base is not looking good. I love the aggression out of Benbot, seeing
Yeah.
that third base is vulnerable and kind of just going for it.
this is good. Turrets, he'll show some respect to as the army moves into place here.
Didn't have to respect them, but I like that.
Yeah.
You know, in general, it's a free unit that can't move, so just let it expire and
Yeah.
you can come
Yeah,
back
and
into
ends
your
up
trick.
coming out with the best here too. The tanks were not there to support; they were way too far back, so he just loses all those Marines for very little in return.
Right, but that tank is in a position to, I think, protect the
Defend
third
this,
base,
yeah.
and I think that's probably the
Oh,
biggest key here is not allowing that third base to fall.
that turret almost tricked him for a bit there. He
Yeah,
walked into the tank range to escape it.
yeah. When you've coded your Marines to run away from siege
Yeah,
tank range and run away from auto turret range, and then
yeah,
there's one on either side of you, what do you do?
yeah. That's it. It's
Use
the
the poison.
typical, yeah, the rock in a hard place argument. Yeah, this should float down soon, and we're gonna have relatively similar economies. But we already get the starts of the Yamato and the BC shift, and see if Phobos has more of an answer to that this time around. As his army does come, that does
Yeah.
look like a fair number of Vikings.
Yeah, I just love the decisions on when to attack from these two bots this series. He's gonna be able to catch that third with no tanks in position. Got enough Vikings to deal with that BC. He got his tanks sieged up first. There are repairing SCVs, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, we'll take
Oh,
the
actually it
first. The
is.
second
Okay.
second one not siege, so that's in trouble too. It does go down.
Wow, yeah, 6 SCVs. Like, the repair is very slow on tanks, but with 6 SCVs, I guess it's enough.
Yeah, now these ones kind of doing more of the leapfrog that you were discussing, and doing it pretty well.
Yeah, but it's too late. Planetary's up. Siege tanks
Yeah.
are in position. This push is completely stuffed. There's nothing Phobos can do here. You can keep trading Vikings with BCs. I don't mind that too much.
Oh, he's live repairing this too, so
Yeah.
he doesn't actually have to teleport it out, but then loses the SCVs as they get a little brave on where they can repair it.
Okay,
But
so
yeah.
he'll hold this position for a little while, but I don't think it's much of a threat to Benbots.
Yeah.
It might prevent Benbots' fourth base for a little while, but
Really good spread. Like seeing this pulled out shot here of like 3 tanks, 2 bunkers, widow mines. Like these are super well. Like this looks like a military that's been dug in for a year.
so
Yeah,
he
like-
is using scans, and I did notice he moved his tank forward. This is something I did specifically against Micro Machine. Is when his tanks don't have vision, you move
Yeah.
your siege tank in range of him, and then you scan.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that was Phobos, what Phobos is going for there, but he was definitely. Well, he's probably scanning the widow mines actually, but.
Yeah, maybe he did end up killing the one that was kind of in the middle there, and another comes out to replace it. I like these little adjustments though by Bembot, like moving the tank forward there, like 2 inches, is really good.
Yeah, those two
It's
tanks are just
such a-
barely outside of
Yeah,
each other's range.
yeah, it's such a small thing, but it's such an important one.
I gotta say though, these Vikings are doing very well for Phobos.
Yeah,
They're winning the Viking battle heavily, and they're, I think, doing at least trading evenly against the BCs. They're forcing a lot of BC repairs, eating some Yamatos here and there, but
yeah. If he was taking just the initial engagements and then pulling back, I think he'd be okay. But then he pushes too forward with the BC.
yeah. And,
And-
once
and
again,
takes
Benbot
MS.
able to sneak out with his SCVs to establish another base. So this forward position from Phobos is just unluckily not able to do what it's supposed to do and contain the opponents.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of almost what we were thinking. Like I was thinking, it wouldn't get to the high ground; it would stick on the low ground. It got to the high ground, but it turns out that that's worse. It would have been better off not doing that, and then blocking the other base.
Yeah.
Right,
Maybe we're
well.
not giving Benbot enough credit too. Maybe if he was
Yeah.
on the low ground, he would take
He
the
would,
other
he would
expansion
go
to
the other
north.
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
true.
sure that's anything with positioning and terrain is always very difficult for bots, so I might be
Yeah,
giving too much credit to Benbot, but definitely could be the case because he's
Well.
done it 2 games in a row.
Marines
Right
really
base to
coming in
expand to.
there to a massacre. Don't know what triggered them to. I mean, I guess going for the BC initially, but then they took a lot of hits.
Yeah, they got hammered by the tanks, but like you said, the Vikings and BC went down, so
Yeah,
you trade out Marines to get air control back to Phobos, so
Yeah.
it's not the worst thing in the world. And these SCVs are kind of moving between bases and getting taking shells from the siege tanks. Little bits of damage here.
And here, he's doing a good job of like at least coordinating when Benbot pushes out with the Viking and the BC, but then the Vikings kind of abandon the BC for a bit, and it doesn't pull back.
Yeah. And Phobos air micro is perfect when he has the air lead. When he decides he doesn't, then his Vikings just take so many shots retreating from the enemy Vikings.
Yeah.
And it's they also let the BC do what it wants to the ground. I think Phobos needs to move back at this point. He's just without the air control,
losing.
he's now not trading well at all.
Yeah, and he's just spiraling out of control there a bit. Again, the Marines want to come in, but the moment they take a step forward, they get shelled.
The 2 attack upgrades of +2 are about to finish for Phobos, though, so he's not in as terrible as the situation as last time.
He's also
still
got
behind in upgrades.
Yeah, he hasn't quite stepped up to. He's got 4 bases, but I wouldn't call this a full 4 base economy either.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has full SCVs at his 4th base. Just one based on what I can see on the minimap, and
He stopped a bit short. The gases are about even, but yeah, he's a bit behind otherwise, and just kind of slowly now losing the.
Yeah, he's been getting absolutely murdered on this side of the map for like the last 3 minutes.
Yeah,
tanks, Vikings, Marines, everything is dying. So
yeah,
you want to be way ahead in economy if you're going to be trading this way.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a point. Yeah, once these BCs come on, it's just gonna clear the tanks, and then everything will just fall. And we're at that point here.
Like you said at the very beginning, though, like this is like the ultimate test is Benbot. Probably the one of, if not the most veteran bot we got in this tournament, and
yeah, just so solid defensively, and like it's one of the few bots that just wins on sheer strength of defense and staying alive, staying efficient. Like it's just sturdy, and so really good test.
Yeah, really seeing it shine here.
Yeah,
he's able to like take the economic leave and just like absorb the difficult attacks, and then once he's absorbed it, he just goes on the puts his foot down on the accelerator, moves across, and kills everything, as we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Phobos is no joke, and Benbot kind of had his way with Phobos.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely see Phobos' type of attack there. That would kill 90% of the Terrans. Just kind of good control, like you said, good air control, things like that. But not, and even some good decision making, like when you said the Marines coming up, picking off specific things, even sacrificing themselves to do it, was probably a correct decision. And a lot of bots can't make that calculation. But yeah, just not enough.
Surprisingly going out on the offense once again.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Might as well.
Turn into a base trade if you can. You probably can't, but you gotta try something at this point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Benbot does come back and quickly mop up all those air units, allowing the BCs to have its way with the ground.
Yeah, chasing everything down, and again, Benbot usually fairly slow to mop up. And as long as there's an attack going, Benbot will tend to come back and deal with that. And just kind of chase. Yeah, there he goes. Coming back to the center again, but eventually this will peter out and he'll make his way across the map. He's been maxed for a while, and bank just accumulating.
Yeah, I think it's probably time we congratulate Benbot.
Yeah.
Maybe fast forward a little bit, because
yeah, he could take a while, but it's decided.
the army supply is at 17 for Phobos, so it looks on the mini-map okay, but it's not okay. This is well over. So a nice second attempt out of Phobos and ProBots. We did see a lot of improvements from Season 1, and no, he didn't die in any dumb ways, so he cleaned up a lot of the issues with the bot, which is really nice. And I think it's built probably on his new Ares framework, not to be mistaken with Ares. So just goes to show you can make a new bot and have it super competitive very quickly.
Definitely, yeah. If you get the right mentality, know what you're doing, and kind of go for making everything work. But yeah, I think there just needed, I don't know, some sort of transition out of this. But again, BenBot's kind of one of the only ones that's going to hold this, so you're going to have to, encounter that a few times before you figure out a way to advance from it. And then again, right at the beginning of the game, that whole drop play completely destroyed. So that was a big investment that didn't go anywhere. So
That made his
delayed.
push be on a 3-base against a 3-base spend bot instead of against a 2-base spend bot. So
Yeah.
it changed everything up quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, yep, congrats to BenBot also advancing to the round of 4. And yeah, good battle cruiser play.
I would love to see some stats on how often BenBot makes a round of 4.
It's
I don't think he's ever like a top 4 bot, but he almost
he's
more
made
than
it.
not he makes the final 4. Like,
Yeah.
he's gets there so often.
Yeah.
Very successful tournament bot. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, basically. I
And
think
yet
he's
he never
so hard.
does snipes or anything either. Maybe
Yeah,
that
I
Mistletoe
think
was,
it's
but I
so
don't think
hard
so.
to it's hard to code against him. I think is the thing is like because things that just generically work, I just don't think work against BenBot. Like it's such a patient defensive thing that when you're trying to play it against other Terrans, it just doesn't play that way. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of sneaks by.
Yeah, if I think of like years ago, there's like bots that played macro and just died to cheese, and then there was bots that played cheese, and like those are like the two
Yeah.
types of bots. And then BenBot was out there. It would expand, it would heavily fortify its natural choke points, and then it would go into BCs. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it's got economy, it has defense against cheese, and it has a win condition with the battle cruisers. So it always seemed like a really smart build, and you could do it against all 3 races. So
Yeah.
it was a really good starting point for a bot. And
Yeah,
obviously,
exactly.
it's gotten much more.
Yeah.
He's expanded on that since then.
I
It's
think
gotten
and
more developed.
and I think the way that he's expanded because it used to be a straight up rush to BCs basically.
yeah, like
And
a
the
2-base
things
rush.
that he's developed is more and more ways to live long enough to safely get there.
Mhm.
And I think other bots tend to go the other way. That it's like focus on your early game and then later expand it to late game. He's like, no, this is the late game I want it. And now I'm going to build out my early and mid game to make sure that I can get to
Yep.
the point that I want. And I think that's just an interesting way to approach it. And it's obviously paying off. So there we go. So congrats to BenBot. We're going to go to a 5-minute break and then come back with Zena versus Zozo. So don't go anywhere. And the Bruins Leafs are 0-0 going into the first intermission.
Mm-hmm. And don't look at any.
Hello. We are back here at ProBots round of 8. And we've got some news. Not great news, but we've had issues with the games between Micro Machine and Ketrock. Unfortunately, Mr. Ketrock here, or his AI body double, has crashed, and it cannot. It's been attempted on multiple machines, and it doesn't go. So unfortunately, we're not going to end up having that match, and it's going to be Micro Machine that ends up advancing. And Ketrock, I keep telling you not to learn coding from Elon Musk, and that's bound to happen. But,
Yeah.
oh well.
Coming soon, 2024.
Yeah. Exactly. So there we go. Unfortunate, but yeah, we won't end up having that match. But we do still have Zena versus Zozo. The two Z. I guess it's still a ZVZ in my mind, pronunciation wise, even though it's a
That's a stretch. Yeah.
it's a random versus the Protoss. But we've got here Zena, our random bot at 2036 elo with a pretty high win rate here of 75%. Playing all 3 races can be quite entertaining. And the opponent, Zozo, has shown some also cheesy stuff. Kind of broke onto the scene with the full worker rushing. Now has kind of transitioned into like zealot rushing, proxy zealot rushing. So curious. Actually, I will take a peek to see if there's any notes. But yeah, fixed a bug that could probably crash the game, minor improvement. So no indication of like build order changes or anything. And then on Zena's side, a pylon, changed to refrain from pylon blocking our own natural in some situations. I think we saw that in the past. Workers now stay on the job in the presence of lone phoenixes, whether they're hallucinated or not. We actually commented on that during one of the past broadcasts that it would run away from a single phoenix, but a single phoenix, even if it's real, can't do anything. So yeah, makes sense. Observers are no longer indifferent to invisible units harassing our mineral lines. That's probably a good idea. Improve responses to proxy zealots. That could be very pertinent in this game. And updated the combat simulator to properly account for new cyclones, which won't be relevant today, but could be in the future. Anyone tuning in, definitely help us out. Hit the like button below. Helps the visibility algorithm, blah, blah, blah. And check out ProBotsAI.com if you're interested at all in either supporting us, getting involved in authoring some of these bots yourselves, or if you want to try playing against them, you can. There is a client for humans to play against these bots. So if you want to just try your hand against them, then check that out. Also for all things good in pro body, check that out. And AIarena.net, which is the place that the ladder is run. There's tons of good resources there. Check them out as well. It's there that we get these rankings and elos, and we decide who ends up in this tournament. So check them out. They're constantly playing games. We play a few a week. They play like thousands.
Yeah.
so it's fun. Good stuff.
Yeah, this will be an exciting series. We got Zozo, probably the cheesiest spot we have in the ladder. Started as just a straight up pro brush bot, and developed from there. It's like, let me just do like a lesser pro brush and kind of expand, and then so it's a cheesiest spot we got. And then Zena is probably the a shark bot gone. I think Zena is probably the most exciting bot that's left in the finals here.
Yeah, I think so too. You never quite know what it's going to be because one, random, so you're going to get totally different things. And yeah, it's proven pretty good. Zena's one of the ones that's really just gotten really good really fast. So I think we are ready to jump in. Okay, then we're good to go. Let's hop in.
Zozo. Zena.
So it looks like we are getting double proxy here, and we'll see which proxy is the best. We've got 4 gateways, and we got 2 racks, both out in places that they're not supposed to be.
Actually, it's 3-gate forge, so zealot cannon going on.
Yeah, okay.
Still got the flower like it's a 4-gate, but
yeah. Okay, yeah, we have seen this before. That actually, we haven't really seen any success. We've seen this attempt at putting like a pylon down and stuff, but we've never seen it actually do anything. But I think now we will because, because there's gateways across the map. There's nothing really other than these SCVs to stop it, and we'll see if they do.
Yeah, and this is a nice change out of Zozo. This is something you could have used versus TRT. Obviously, the walled-off ramp is something you can't get by with the Zealots. And but a cannon on the low ground with the Zealots giving high ground vision, that can definitely get past the...
I'll go for it again. I think we saw in the past he attempted this, but then the probe itself kind of got caught. So he didn't get to like continue with it. But now with the Zealot joining, this will be interesting. He'll get it down again.
Yeah, there's no more picking that off with SCVs. Marauder's actually coming back. Normally it's whoever retreats when it's proxy versus proxy is the bot that loses, but I kind of like the...
Yeah, I think you're right.
Coming back because I think it will help in this situation.
He's killed a lot of workers. That's a big part of this. And the Marauders should be enough to finish off the cannon, especially with the Zealots not really helping. Although if he's tentative, yeah, now it will get up.
Okay, yeah, this is actually looking really bad for Zena here. Yeah, now I'm wishing those Marauders are actually killing probes on the other side of the map.
Yeah, we get into this situation, very similar thing when it was Zozo against a Zerg player, EPN Roach, I think, that was trying to get up to Roaches, and you're like, well, the Roaches will eventually kill all the Zealots, but the Zealots will kill everything else before that happens. And I think we got the same thing happened here.
Yeah, and a big deal here is the Marauders don't have concussive shell yet, so you can't kite forever versus the Zealots as they're the same movement speed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that does hurt things. Yeah, had they had that, then yeah, you can just infinitely take them out. First one will die to the cannon there. Eventually, if they hop on that, they'll get it. But yeah, now limited supply of Marauders, and yeah, they'll eventually kind of get run down.
Yeah, basically every time they stop to shoot, the Zealot will get to slash it now. Yeah, well done to Zozo. It looks like he's a little bit busy chasing down the remaining structures.
Yeah, does see them.
Does get led straight to the barracks, which is nice.
Yeah. And the CC didn't lift off or anything either on Zena's side. So, I mean, not that it would have ended up helping anyway, but it looks like it doesn't do that. And this one is going to be a relatively quick one, assuming that these don't float up, and it doesn't look like they're going to. And yeah, I'm not sure that you would have been able to like, you could potentially turned off the workers, but I think by the time the Marauders got over there and did that, this is already enough Zealots to win the game. The only thing you could have potentially done was force a draw, but then you'd have to lift your buildings off to do that. And he didn't. So, yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Yep, quick one. I don't think we expected a long one for this matchup. We kind of knew it was going to be a cheese one way or the other. It turns out that it's a cheese both ways, and Zozo was the one to carry that. But then we know a lot of these bots, we question, will it do the same thing? Zena's a random bot, so we know unless it gets the same race, it won't do the same thing. It can't. So there you go. But I kind of wonder now from the Zena patch notes how to deal with the Zealot Rush was supposed to have changed. But I wonder if that's conditional on not doing your own cheese.
Yeah.
You know?
And it might depend what race you get as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, not sure if he planned anything specific for Zozo, but it is a little surprising he chose a cheese against Zozo.
Yeah.
You figure what you want to do is just try to survive cheese, and then I can see where you want to be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it's not one that's like fast enough that it would outspeed them on it. If you're doing like proxy Reaper, I guess maybe better, but not really. And like you said, or with concussive shell, at least you can kite them forever. But you end up with a problem where, like you said, like there's too many Zealots that sure you can kite them if you have 8 minutes, but you don't. So I think we're ready for what is possibly the decider match and the last match of the night. But Zena may pull it back. Again, totally different race, totally different result. We'll see what happens.
Zena. Zozo.
So we're going to get a PvP here, and there are probes out, but in kind of, the first one going up into, okay. Fun. I don't know if that's going to work, though. Although if it kind of depends how he handles this. So if he kind of walls or semi-walls the top of the ramp, it depends how he gets there, what the plan is. obviously the voids are another thing where it's like you can make a void, and then obviously a void, the zealots can never kill it. But once again, it takes so long to deal with it. And this time it is going to be 4 gateways.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's time to get to a Void Ray anyways.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
lucky to get one out before all your probes are dead.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be more about the gateway units, the shield batteries.
Yeah, it'll be how did you choose to get to there? And it looks like he is doing it at least defensively. Okay, yeah, so there's a forge on
Interesting.
this side. Yeah. So that certainly would help. If
Oh, he's going for a cheese of his own again. That's why. He probably
yeah.
wants to set up offensive cannons.
Yeah.
But if he sets up a defensive one as well, that could maybe do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what you want to see is like one cannon right by that pylon. And then if you kind of body block the ramp, you could potentially kill a ton of zealots before they ever get in. And then you've got, Is that a full wall? Is that, yeah.
It's not a full wall.
No, it's
and
not.
unfortunately, when that
Yeah.
Cybercar finished, he
Yeah.
did not start chrono boosting a stalker.
No.
So there's literally nothing here except for maybe cannons in time.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, is that 3 cannons that just went down?
Yeah.
2 batteries
no,
and a
shield
cannon.
battery and a cannon. So
That's pretty good.
good.
But he has to kill the zealot with something. He doesn't want to fight with probes. So
He's got to like lower it back here, and there's 2 there too. But yeah, cannon up. We'll do some work. He needs to prevent 2 zealots from getting on this. Okay, the shield battery's there, so this cannon's now pretty strong. And the probes fighting now in that battery range also helps.
Yeah, and probes fighting with nice micro as well.
Yeah.
They're doing the mineral walking trick, so they all get to get their attacks in.
Can he kill this? If he can kill this off and get back to normal mining, then it'll be pretty strong. Okay, there's his defensive zealot out too. And yeah, now we're going to get up to...
Shield batteries are quite low, though.
Yeah.
He's going to lose at least 1 more zealot, maybe 2. But he needs to fight with his probes. There he comes. Another zealot arrives.
Yeah.
Oh, and he didn't actually lose that zealot either. So he's got 3 of them alive here. Okay, one of them goes down.
Yeah, he's doing really good with the... Well, one of the initial strengths of Zozo was probe micro, but it looks like Zena's picked that up quite well. And yeah, now that a Void Ray is out, there is a clock on all of this. That the Zealot should eventually wipe this all out, but obviously the Void Rays will on the other side too. And then it's just going to be a matter of who kills what first. Stalker there for Zena.
Oh, very nice.
Good block. No more cannon to help though, unfortunately, is gonna...
Yeah, and he probably...
That slows him down.
And he didn't even get like 1 beam off of the shield battery. I thought it would release for Gen 5 energy and help the stalker a little bit. But it doesn't matter, there's so many zealots here. So, it's going to be about defending his proxy, I guess.
Kind of. And I just don't think he... Like, again, it's that thing of 1 Void Ray will kill an infinite number of zealots, but the zealots will kill the buildings before it does.
Yeah, that's a lot of zealots. How many are we up to here? 4 in the production tab still. Yeah, so he didn't even get...
15.
His economy shut down, he didn't get supply blocked. Yeah, the Void Ray, if it went straight for the pylons, it would have been nice. Or if it went straight for the Nexus, it would have been nice. But it kind of did half
Void
and
Rays
half.
just take so long. Like, he's still killing this Nexus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not with the overcharge, it would have been... Or not the overcharge, whatever it's called. The prismatic alignment would have been a little bit quicker, but...
I don't even... Does it even give a bonus for that? I don't know if it's armored.
Yeah, it's versus armored, the prismatic.
It should be, yeah.
If it's not armored, then it's mechanical. Either way, it would make sense.
It should work.
For a Nexus,
Yeah, so here the Void Ray will try and defend this, but he's kind of got to... If he had 2 or something, then maybe, like, I don't know. He could at least go try and kill the other buildings while he's defending this, but there's too many.
Yeah, but the Zealots so far have arrived 1 at a time.
Yeah, that
Okay,
that
now
helps.
4 at a time, 5 at a time. Okay, now it's too many.
Now we're converging.
But, I don't know, the workers are going to help? Is that what's happening here? Oh, wow. Workers finding another purpose once they don't have a Nexus anymore. I love it. And that will do it.
Oh, well. So, there we go. Zozo is taking this, and we'll move on. And, Yeah, just pretty well done. Just really good execution in this. And despite kind of running into the shield batteries and cannon there, the Void Ray just ultimately too slow. Like too slow to kill anything. Like untouchable, but nothing you can do.
All right.
Yep.
There we
So
have it.
that is going to do it for
So we got our final
tonight.
4. Yep.
Yeah. Can we take a look at the resulting bracket if we've got it? And see who is moving on. We're going to have, I believe, Tier facing Mike
Bedbot?
Machine then, or was it Bedbot? Yeah, I forget which was on.
Yeah, I
which
don't
side.
actually know
Yeah.
how it lined up.
Well, we'll see if somebody brings it up. But I know that we just did these live, so they may not have made the graphic yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be Tier Micro Machine.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Okay.
then
Yeah,
the other side will be
Aaron Micro Machine, Benbot, and Zozo. That's going to be really interesting because Benbot, of course, plays for the late game. Zozo is going to go for the rush. I don't know that we've seen Benbot really have to deal with a super early rush. It does bunker and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
is it going to hold well against like a Mega Zealot rush sort of thing? Don't know.
Yeah, especially if he gets that complete wall off of the natural.
Yeah.
Depending on the map, it might be possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we haven't really seen him do that before, but so tonight was kind of the first day it's transitioned to that, but that could be interesting. And these will be best of fives next week as well. So we'll see a lot of variation potentially there.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Yep. There you go. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. And check us out next week for the semifinals. Check out ProBotsAI.com. Check out AIArena.net. And yeah, all that stuff in the description is like templates to getting started making bots. And our director, guy, organizer, whatever you what do you call Drekken? Some guy producer. Yeah, dude. Does stream each Monday as well, working on his micro Zerg bot. So check that out if you're interested in how these things are programmed, put together, whatever. Oh yes, and you can vote on the challenge as well on what you think. We kind of alternate between what you think is going to happen, and what do you want to happen. What you want is wussier. What do you what do you think is going to happen? Is better.
I think if I were gambling on today's games, I think I would have gotten all 4 wrong.
It's possibly, yeah, I
Yeah.
might be in the same boat. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, maybe the tier one I would have picked here, but I think the rest of them, yeah, I think you're right. I would have gone the other way. So yeah, upsets can even happen in the AI bot world. We're far from AGI, so whatever. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.
See you guys.